Hey, Magic Makers, I'm Mom Birella.
I'm Yukita Cosplay.
And I'm CJ Peterson. Welcome to Magic Making Mischief. Get your wands to the ready because we have some fun coming up. Are you ready? We solemnly swear we're up to no good. Today we have a special guest, Ms. Jan down in the corner, who is also known as the Alchemist or the Owlchemist Queen. I said that correctly.
Yes. The Alchemist Queen, who is an owl.
Yeah,
So
the owl
Queen, not alchemist, Owlchemist.
Owlchemist Queen. Yes, I thought that was really
Owlchemist Queen.
So how are you doing today, ma'am?
I am doing great. Thank you. It's very nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Today is recorded, so if you comment, do not be offended if we do not share it or show it or answer it. We will get to it as soon as we can. The reason we're pre-recording is because I'm going to be moving tomorrow, so because I won't have internet till next week, so it was good timing. But Ms. Jan, you are generally with, we talked about it beforehand, the Texas Renaissance Festival, correct?
That is correct. I've been at the Texas Ren Fair since 2011, and I've been performing as the Alchemist Queen, or I've showed up as the Alchemist Queen since 2013. So I guess we're like at about 10 years. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's a good long run.
What is the Alchemist Queen? So people know what we're talking about.
The Alchemist Queen is a mama owl. She's a white owl, white and gold owl queen with a heart of gold, and that's how she's an alchemist. She has transformed her heart into gold. So the character is something that I personally get very heart-centered when I'm performing as her. And I perch on a giant nest, which is really my favorite part about it. And I invite people to sit inside the nest. And once we're there, they get a lot of love and attention. And we talk and we take photos. And in the last couple of years, I feed them a gummy worm.
Nice.
That's cute. That's
With
a gummy worm
with
for me.
tongs, not regurgitating in their mouth, but I take the tongs and I put a gummy worm on them and I say, "Open up, little bird."
So of all the things you could come up with, what made you come up with that?
Well, so for 12 years, I had a shop and a restaurant in Corpus Christi, Texas. And this lovely lady named Jill worked for us. And she was also my friend. And she left us to go and marry the leader of Tartanic, who is a very popular Renaissance Festival band in the country.
Oh, they're awesome. I love them.
I love Tartanic.
So she left us to be with Tartanic, to marry him and be with them. And I thought nothing of it. And then we sold our business in 2010, traveled for a while, and then they called us up and they needed a drummer. And it just so happened that my ex-husband at the time was a drummer. So we joined Tartanic. For 3 years, I traveled with Tartanic all over the country at all the Renaissance festivals full time. I was a mother of a toddler and an 11-year-old. And so the reason I bring this up is I spent 3 years with this very popular band, traveling around, and I got to see the entertainment side of the Ren Fair straight out the gates. Mm-hmm. And what I discovered is that I really loved the lifestyle. I loved RV life. I loved a safe place to camp with a bunch of other people that were working at the fair. Usually they're 2 months long, so that we have this beginning, middle, and end. It ends, and then we go to another town and another Ren Fair and do that. And I loved that part. So a few years in, when my daughter was growing up, and I knew that I could start working again, I was like, well, what can I do that's like a grown-up job at a Ren Fair, not just working for someone, but my own business. And it seemed like I should have a shop because that's what I had for 12 years in Corpus Christi, Texas. But I was really over the inventory and the stuffness of, and so and then I'd seen all the perks that the entertainers get, like free camp, free RV hookups. And so to me, that lack of overhead is very important. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be a performer. What am I going to do? cannot dance. I cannot sing. I cannot shout. I was like, I can love. So I knew I wanted to be an animal woman. And I knew I just wanted to work for me, and I did not want to work with anyone else. And so I was like, I mean, I wanted to be a jaguar woman, but that does not fit in. I'm into Mayan culture. That does not fit in at all to the Ren Fair. So I kind of like marinated on it, and then I was like, oh my God, an owl. So an owl came to me, and at that moment, it's like the character came to me and just took a life of its own. And I'm not a costume maker.
Mm-hmm.
I made those wings. I made the mask. I put everything together, and then I didn't even have work at it. I just made it, and then I started to weave this giant nest together. My family thought I was crazy, and then right when I was at the ready to start, maybe putting her out there, I sadly got divorced and left Tartanic. Still, they're my family. Mm-hmm. But I started working on her and immediately got in Scarborough, Colorado, Pittsburgh, and Texas Ren Fair. You can probably do about 5 Ren Fairs a year comfortably because they're 2 months long. And I also do Arizona, but I don't do the owl there. I bartend there. So, so I just out the gate, I was immediately, a lot of people were like, oh, you want to be a lane act at a Renaissance festival? Go for it. Yeah. Like I could tell people thought everybody wants to do that, but I had this vision for it, and she was alive to me, and I put it out there, and I immediately got in. And so 2014 is when I full-time started doing her, and did it until I still do it, but in the pandemic, the lockdown kind of shifted some things for me. Yeah. I realized that the costume was a little bit too hot in certain festivals like Scarborough and Pittsburgh, particularly the spring and the late summer. I'm really glad that I cut them for that reason, although I do miss that. And anyway, so now I'm just down to the Texas Ren Fair and 4 weekends just in November. And so that's what that was. But what happened is in in 2020, I was welcome to go and do the Owlchemist Queen because, believe it or not, Texas Ren Fair actually opened in 2020 during the pandemic, which was really brave and crazy. But I did not want to perform that year because we had to wear COVID masks, and I wear a mask on the top, so I did not want to be all masked. I'm dependent on my smile and my eyes to make children especially feel safe with the character, because she's a little weird looking, I'll be honest. So instead I was like, I've been filmmaking for a long time. I'm like, I'm gonna get my Fair Freak project going, which is something I had started in 2011 but did nothing with. And I went every single day during the 2020 season. I'm talking like all 16 days, and I filmed every day. I got so much footage, and I started just throwing out footage of Renaissance Festival culture. And then from then in 2021, I visited as many fairs as I could and started to put videos on TikTok under the handle Fair Freak. Mm-hmm. And so I spend every single day pretty much spitting out a video for that project. But I do it as the Owlchemist Queen. So it's like there's Fair Freak, who is the Owlchemist Queen, who is me. And I never show my face. So this is like really rare for me to show my face.
Ooh, exclusive.
Yeah, I don't. I never show my face. I'm hiding behind multiple masks usually.
So the outfit looks really intricate. How long did it take you to do that?
Guess. 9 months.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I don't
wanna
know why.
say
It was this like
2 weeks.
gestation of
9 months.
owlness. There's a lot of feathers on that wing. I
I
wanted.
know.
Oh
That's
my
why I saw
goodness.
that, and I'm looking at that. I'm putting the picture up again for those who are listening. It looks very intricate. That's why I was wondering how long it took. It looked like it took.
Well, there is an artist named Ka Serpent Feathers who had those wings. She's an amazing, beautiful dancer at Burning Man, and she's an artist. And I don't know her, but I had seen her wings, and I stared at them for months, and I was like, how did she do that? So she was definitely the inspiration for the wings. And I even contacted her to maybe buy some from her, but she never responded. So I was like, oh darn, I guess I'm gonna have to figure it out myself. And I just was determined, and I made the wings, and those are the same wings that I used in 2013. So they're the same ones.
Definitely durable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always have to replace feathers and stuff. But,
As you do.
yeah. But yeah, so and it's a bit, and I literally work on my heart center. I stay in that space, and really the character is one where whoever she sees and interacts with is this brilliant divine being of light. So she interacts with them as such, and it's like that's what she sees, that's how she responds, and somehow people respond to being seen and respond to the love and the mama energy. And I get a lot of mother issues people that seem to attract to the character. A lot of frequently women too.
So,
Well,
like these two or something.
yeah,
What's that about?
I've had several women cry saying I lost my mother recently. I lost my child. That's really profound things. I've had more than one person say that the picture of the owl with her wings around their grandpa or someone was used like as a photo in a funeral. Like really just like touching stuff like that.
That's so sweet.
It's really touching, and I'm really honored to be a little part in someone's special time.
So it's not just fun; it's rewarding too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I hope to always keep her alive in some form. Definitely. I'd like to actually kind of rebrand her as the Winter Owl Queen, because so it's not Owlchemist is a little woo woo, but if we just do Winter Owl Queen, which I really mean the holidays, Christmas, and then she can be like a feminine Santa Claus type, like a feminine energy picture opportunity where the kids can sit in the nest. The nest kind of looks like a manger. So she's kind of like the great mother, but she's an owl. So we got the natural forces there of the nature world. So that's something I'd like to do. And that would also take care of the fact that it's hard to do it in the heat. It would always be in the winter.
There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's that. This is very abridged. I'm trying to be concise.
That's awesome. So have you had with the Fair Freak stuff? I know you get a chance to do a lot of fun videos and stuff out there too. Have you had a favorite moment with that you want to like?
I have had so many phenomenal moments because I get to run around the fair and film whatever catches my eye. And my point with Fair Freak is to like I'm a Rennie, meaning a Rennie who works and travels with Ren fairs, not a patron. And there kind of is a little bit of a difference between the two. So sorry, I'm just getting so excited by the whole thing. One really cool thing happened this weekend, actually. One really cool thing happened today. Today, I hit 100,000 followers on TikTok. Today.
Round of applause.
So you guys calling me in today is so special to me because it feels kind of celebratory, for that. I try not to put a lot of weight on things like followers or views or anything like that.
Milestone. You should.
Well, yeah,
That is a huge one.
and I've been doing it for over 3 years, so it's not like it happened easily. And I post literally almost every single day for 3 years. I took the longest break I did this summer. I took this break for like 6 weeks, but last week somebody asked me to go film their shop, because now they're calling me like, hey, come and do my shop. And so basically what I was going to say is my point is to focus on, I'm not trying to promote the Renaissance Festival themselves, like the big corporate or whatever Renaissance festivals. I'm focusing on all the small businesses that make up the Ren Fair, all the vendors and artists that have shops, all the performers, the workers, and the patrons too, and the food that we serve, and the vibe and the culture. So I'm here. So I don't ever want to charge to do videos because I'm doing that for my community, and I really want to help feature them. And it's starting to get to the point where it's actually making a difference. So a few weeks ago, I work really hard on some of the videos, and they're really, kind of good. And then I'll spit one out real quick, like, oh, it's Friday night. I got to get one out. So I spit one out of like a 2-foot corn dog that they sell at the Texas Ren Fair. And it went totally viral. It's like over 1.5 million views.
Wow.
And, lots of jokes.
Oh my goodness.
Lots of dirty jokes in there.
Of course.
Lots of dirty comments, but whatever. Keep on commenting, because that helps the algorithm. And so the next weekend they were just totally floored. They said they were selling 50 corn dogs a day, and now they're selling like 150 a day, and now they sell it at 3 locations. And so, and then last year I did this very small booth of this girl that does handmade dice, and it exploded her business. And so that's the kind of thing I'm like, yes, she's so grateful, and I'm so happy. But last week somebody called me in, and I got there. They handed me a giant gift, like a golden wrapped box with ribbons, and asked me to open it on camera. And I opened it up, and it was just all these amazing things from their shop. It was a shop called All About Tails. They reinforce.
Oh my goodness.
Those fox tails, but they reinforce them so they'll never break. And so I guess tail culture is kind of big in the Ren Fair, or with some, especially, and even just young people culture. They like to wear tails now. So that one did really well. But I was just, first of all, I was really happy. It got them a lot of attention and business. But that gift they gave me was so sweet, and I was thrilled. And then after the corn dog video, that company reached out to me and asked me to do more. And now they're like, you can eat anything you want, anytime.
All the time.
So I'm doing the owl, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to take my break in a minute. What am I going to eat? And then I go over there, and they're like, take this. And so that's been really
I love that.
That is awesome.
So cute.
That's so funny. Like I totally get that, because that's what I love to do, is like take my favorites and then share them out with like because I do a lot of the cons as well as the Ren Fair and stuff. Like you pick your ones that you love and you share them, and sometimes other people are like, oh, I found out about this through your video, or they'll be like, yeah, people told me they saw it on your video. It's so cool to see other people getting to love the things that you're like, no, this is really cool. You got to check this out. So that's really awesome. I love that. One of my favorite things to do.
Love supporting local artists and local shops like that. So that's super cool.
Absolutely. I'm very happy to help, and the performers too. They're small businesses as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think about it.
Like, light on the arts, whatever the arts are, whether it's food, because food can be an art.
Yes, it can.
I mean, stick on a stick. And have you seen those potatoes that go down the stick? I mean, that's art. That is art.
Those
Yeah.
are delicious.
It's that I've seen jewelry, the blacksmiths at the Texas Ren Fest. Love those two.
Yeah.
Is it Sledge and Hammer? Is that what they go by? If I remember,
I
they're Sledge and Hammer.
think so.
Well, there's a new one called the Dragon Forge Experience.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
And they have these big metal dragons they've created, and the mouth of the dragon blows fire, and that's where they put the metal to heat it up. And then people can make their own dagger or hair stick or whatever.
Yes,
And,
I've heard
and
of that.
hammer them stuff. Yeah. So
There's
that's
so
been
much cool stuff. I even went to like a smaller one here at OKC this weekend. And it made me miss the Texas Ren Fest because it's so big and it's so intricate and there's like actual buildings and I missed it, but I still got to enjoy like the things that they had made. And then it was Scottish Highlands. So they were like tossing the thing up over the bar. They were throwing things. There was a joust. There was all sorts of fun stuff. And I just love that stuff about the Ren Fest as a whole, because they usually have at least something along those lines at them.
Mm-hmm.
To be this really small one in Tyler, Texas, called Four Winds, and I absolutely loved that one. It just had such a it's like the small cons. It had that family feel. You got in there and you were just like, oh my gosh, I'm in it.
But I love the Texas Ren Fest one though because it's so huge. Like the parade, just
Yeah,
The parade is my absolute favorite.
the different shots. It's all cool.
It's out of control.
Too. So it's like they all have their own kind of thing. Like and each one has their own theme too. That's what makes each Ren Fair so special.
Yes, like
Is
Sherwood having the Robin Hood. That was one of my favorite small ones. Sherwood, I love that. The one
I was just going to say
this
that.
one last weekend was Scottish Highlands. So,
and then weekend sometimes they have a different theme too. Like so, each Ren Fair has its overall theme, and then there's like the theme weekends too. So it's just there's so much going on with that. It's awesome.
Yes.
It's so much fun.
Sherwood Forest Fair is a gem. It's really special, and it's got a lot of heart. It's very small, though. I mean, it's not that small, but it's small, like Texas Ren Fair, maybe in the 80s, kind of small
comparison wise.
Yeah, but what's great about both Sherwood and Texas is there's patron camping.
Yes,
and that is not something that I can't think of any other Ren Fair in the country that has patron camping, and that's really cool for patrons to be able to just go right back to, they don't have to drive. They just go right back and
just camp out and chill.
The party keeps going.
Yes, an after dark, if you will.
Yeah, and the big parties, all kinds of parties. So there's that, and I think that's a really cool feature that we have at two Texas fairs at two different times of the year. So
one during spring and one during the fall winter time.
Exactly.
But it's like when you walk in, it's like old home week because like, I remember this from last year, or I remember this from so many years ago, because it's the same thing. It's not necessarily the same people, but there are some of the same people. So it's kind of
and some of the shops
ones.
Some of the shops and stuff are basically permanent in their spot. And like you have your favorites and you come back to them every year. Like there's this one, I never remember the name, but it's steampunk themed. And my daughter goes nuts for this shop every time we go up there. And they've got all the different costumes and everything. And it's just all the accessories. And she's obsessed with steampunk.
Steamworks.
Steamworks, yes.
I think it's called Steamworks. I've been there before. That's where I've gotten one of my steampunk dresses.
It's cool stuff. And there's so many different ones too. You've got the more traditional, like actual full-on period style Renaissance. You've got
like Nebraska.
There's the leatherworks and just so much going on.
The last 10 years, it's really shifted to a lot more steampunk, which is a really cool aesthetic, and then all the more cosplay stuff.
Yep.
And fantasy. And I know the old timers don't like it, but I mean, I do. I like the fantasy aspect, and I like that just wear a costume. It does not matter what.
Heroes in Village Weekend was a good one. I wore my Scarlet Witch, the Wanda one, and I sent a picture to somebody because they're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm heading to the Ren Fair." They go, "I thought you said you're going to the Ren Fair. Why are you wearing that one?" I was like, "It's Heroes in Village. It's a multiverse weekend. Okay, we can be there. It's part of the multiverse. All right."
It happened in a universe far, far away.
Well, and sometimes they'll do like the heroes versus villains. They'll do, different things.
Like this weekend is Barbarian Weekend.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, you could still be a hero and villain during the Barbarian Weekend, and it wouldn't matter. So
It works either way. Just having fun dressing up.
Yeah. I love that. I think it's a really great escape for people, and it's needed. And I think that right now we need some moments to just go play. And I love watching the adults play, but it's definitely good for the kids as well.
Well, and it's almost like stepping back in time. So anybody who likes history, it's kind of a really cool thing. Like I said, I got to talk with the blacksmiths, literally doing it, glass blowers. I mean, there's all sorts of things that they're literally doing right there. And it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And
Very
now
much so.
Texas Ren Fair now is doing 2 different burlesque shows. So that's like,
Really?
what's this?
Yes.
So the Pirate Pub has the Pirate Burlesque show. And now
Teas of the Seas.
Yeah, the Teas of the Seas. And then this year they added the Spice Boys, which is basically like NSYNCs in Ren Fairs, making their songs Ren Fair and dancing in lines.
It's as fun as all get out.
It's
Okay.
It's totally ridiculous, but it's so much fun and
I love
cute.
it so much.
Some people don't like it, but I think it's good. I think it's good to have a variety. And then the Wormwood Public House is swanky, speakeasy,
Yes.
cabaret, like French absinthe bar, and it's really swanky and it's air conditioned, and they make fancy cocktails, and everybody in there is very pretty.
Air conditioned is nice.
Everyone loves a good air conditioning.
Well, also, like the Ren Fair TRF is actually open later nowadays, right? Like they have like fireworks and a whole like night show that they do before they.
Yeah, that's another thing that makes it special. They have a fire show with fire spinners out at the Joust Arena, and then when they're over, the big fireworks display ends the night, and it's a nice fireworks display. It's impressive. I always am impressed when I see it. So it's a fun fair, and then you can go back to your campground, and there's a party all night there if you want that.
Right?
Yeah.
So now, which ones you mentioned you're doing November for the Texas Ren Fest? Is that the only one you're going to be doing?
As the Owlchemist Queen now, that is all I'm doing.
Okay.
So, which is, it kind of hurts my heart, but it's okay. It's at least I can still keep her alive there. And the only other thing I might do, like I said, is a holiday owl project, but I would rename her. And I would love to do like zoo lights or things like that.
That
would be so cool.
Dickens Strand would be a good one for that.
Which one? I was just thinking about that one today. The problem is that seems like 80% of the time that Dickens on the Strand has the worst weather, because I've been following it, and I mean like cold, raining, like
hot. There have been some hot weekends up there. Like last year, it was actually quite hot, and the snow. They have this whole snow hill thing.
And it was all melted.
Oh no!
I remember that.
No, it was like a river.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate you coming on.
God, yes.
For those who are watching, get a hold of her. You can follow her links and stuff that's across the bottom. For those who are listening, it is to find the Owlchemist Queen. You can head over to the link tree, linktr.ee/fairfreak, FAIREFREAK. Again, thank you so much for joining us. You were a true treasure to enjoy.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing your love with the world.
Thank you for having me.
Mommy?
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Hope to see you all at the Ren Fair the next few weekends. I'll be out there. I believe Yukita's going to be with me.
Yes, I will be.
All right.
Can't miss it anymore. Not allowed.
So until next time, see y'all, guys. Mischief.